Hey there, island dreamers, locals, and anyone craving a slice of paradise. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Fun and Key West podcast, where the vibe is always laid back, the stories are salty, and the drinks, well, they're definitely frozen. I'm your host, Michelle O'Connor, your unofficial tour guide to the Conquered Public. Whether you're planning your first trip, your fifth trip, or you're just daydreaming about trading the cubicle for the ocean breeze, you are in the right place. Here's the deal. This podcast is your insider's guide to all things Key West. We're talking where to eat, hello, conch fritters and key lime pie, where to drink, spoiler alert, there will be rum, where to stay, and all the quirky, wonderful things that make Key West the one-of-a-kind paradise we all love. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest happenings, festivals, events, maybe even the occasional Hemingway lookalike sighting. And just to keep things spicy, we'll be bringing on some amazing guests now and then, locals, business owners, and people who know the island like the back of their sandy hand. So grab your flip-flops, pour yourself a cold one, and let's escape to the island state of mind together, whether you're tuning in from your hammock or your commute, while wishing it was a hammock. We've got all the Key West goodness coming your way. Thanks for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun in Key West. Let's dive in. Welcome, history buffs and curious wanderers. Michelle here with Fun in Key West. And today we're stepping back in time to a charming corner of Key West history, the neighborhood store at 600 Francis Street. Imagine a place where you didn't just go pick up your daily essentials, but also swap stories, caught up on the latest gossip, and felt like you were part of the family. Yep, this little shop was the heart and soul of its community. We're digging into how this tiny store shaped the lives of locals and why it's still standing as a snapshot of old Key West charm. Plus, for all you history lovers, I've got a blog post linked in the show notes with lots more details and links to more of these other historic spots. So grab your coffee, get cozy, and join me for another fascinating chapter of Key West's story. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle with Fun in Key West, and welcome back to another episode of Historic Marker Day. Today's stop is the neighborhood store, and this is located at 600 Francis Street. It was built as a neighborhood store, and it links back to the history of Key West and how people shopped and got all their information. It's a small corner store, and it was put on the corner. Even back when marketing wasn't marketing, it was put on the corner so that there was lots of exposure on either sides, big windows and everything to show all of that. The neighborhood store was the heart and soul of the neighborhood. It's where you picked up your daily essentials, and it served people in Key West for decades. Unlike some of the larger grocery chains we see today, it was family run, and it was where customers were more like family than just a customer or a neighbor. The structure was built in the late 19th or early 20th century, and it helped to bring goods into the neighborhood for the local families and all the immigrants and workers that were brought in to work within Key West. It stocked daily necessities. You had your produce if they could get it, canned goods, your household items, all of those things. And if you think back how you see these neighborhood stores depicted on movies and stuff, you went in there for everything. It was your neighborhood Amazon. We would think Sears and Roebuck back in the day. You could order all kinds of things, fabric that you needed for your clothing, all of that type of stuff you could get. But it was also a gathering place. It wasn't just where you went in and picked up your stuff. It was where you walked in, you got caught up on what was happening, what was the latest news, you exchanged stories, you ran into people. It was the heart and soul, I guess you could say, of the neighborhood. It had just that personal touch. The shopkeepers knew you by name. I mean, how many times do you walk into your grocery store today and, first of all, do you have the same cashier all the time? And second of all, do they remember your name? There is a little bit of question about it, but, back then, maybe you could buy on credit, and then it was like store credit, and then as you got paid, you could pay it off. But, these neighborhood stores reflected island life. They didn't carry a whole lot, and when shipments came in, people came in and picked up what they had ordered. But it was also a way for people to maybe barter and bring things in that maybe the shopkeepers didn't have to order, but they could bring in through bartering. As Key West grew, the small neighborhood stores gave way to the larger supermarkets. Publix comes in and Fausto's and all of that. And stores like this slowly disappeared and were replaced by what we see today as normal retail stores. But the neighborhood store at 600 Francis Street still remains today. It is still a commercial building. It has rotating around various times. I don't want to say what's in there today because it may not be there when you show up, but it has various things in there. Walk by, take a picture, step back in time and really appreciate, hey, if I lived in this neighborhood, this is where I went shopping and how cool that was. I got to thinking about it. Did you have a neighborhood store when you were growing up? I mean, do you remember one from your childhood that you could walk to that was in the neighborhood? I live in a community today that had those. They don't have them anymore, but had those. And I talk to people who can remember growing up and walking down to the neighborhood store and getting an ice cream or getting a treat or getting a soda or something. And those days are gone. You now have to get in your car and you drive to the grocery store and everything's there. And I don't think we think about how simple or how limiting the inventory was at some of these stores. If you did go to a neighborhood store, what was your go-to? What did you get? What was that treat that you got from that corner store? Let me know. Put it in the comments or DM me and let me know and say, hey, Michelle, this was my go-to thing every time I went to that corner store. So the next time you're wandering around Key West, you're going to see those historic markers. And every one of those historic markers tells a story, not only about the house, but the time of and place that it was capturing of Key West history. Who lived there? How did the house get there? Who were the people that made that house their home or made that structure their family business? Be sure to check those out. They're all over Key West. And as you wander around, pick them up, read them. You can't pick them up. Find them, stand there and read them and figure out the really cool history of Key West. You know that it's one of those things that really is in my heart and soul of why I love going to Key West is the history and the architecture and all these stories about these people that overcame great things and did such an amazing things once they landed in Key West. I am so happy that you stopped by for a quick episode of Historic Marker Monday. You guys enjoy your week, and we will talk to you later. But before I go, remember, head over to FunInKeyWest.com. Grab all kinds of information over there and check out more information about all the other historic markers in Key West. You guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me today to rewind time and explore the legacy of the neighborhood store at 600 Francis Street. Can't you just picture it? The big windows, the hustle and bustle of locals grabbing their daily essentials, maybe a little news gossip while picking up a fresh bag of produce. It was so much more than just a shop. It was the heartbeat of the community. This corner store wasn't just about supplies. It was the place to catch up with neighbors and maybe even barter a bit. Local economy before it was trendy. From fabric to canned goods and that classic old Florida charm, this shop kept Key West families connected and supported for decades. And though times have changed, the building is still standing strong, a nostalgic reminder of simpler times. Want to know more? Good news. I've linked a blog post below in the show notes, so be sure to check that out as well as all the other historic markers on our website. Now, for a quick heads up, my fellow book lovers, did you know our Fun in Key West book club dives into stories that have a Key West and Florida Keys connection every month? Yep, it really does. So head over to FunInKeyWest.com, sign up for our book club over there, and be part of all of that fun. But before you go, like this episode if it brought you a little Key West nostalgia. Share it with your history-loving friends or travel buddies, and let me know if you visited the neighborhood store or have a memory of your own local corner shop. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for tuning in and taking this stroll down memory lane with me. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, keep it Key Westy.